Well, Tonto, we're I know that's a pretty aggressive way to kick off a video, especially for a Monday, but if you paid attention to the internet or listened to any of the talking heads, that's exactly what they were preaching from the high heavens when they saw the bloodbath of a situation when the stock market opened today, Monday, January the 27th. In this video, I'm going to be breaking down why everyone was running around with their head on fire, but more importantly, I want to be explaining why I think they are all wrong. Yes, you heard me right. Everyone who's telling you to sell, and sit short and be scared and be bearish, I think they are all 100% wrong. You can clip this, you can save it, you could do whatever you want, but I'm letting you know right now, I am buying this dip. And obviously, I want to explain why I'm buying this dip. But to really understand that I'm serious about this, I put half of my entire account in degenerate YOLO call options because I feel that confident that I'm right on this particular call out. Now, obviously, time will tell. Either I'll seem like a trading god or I'll seem like a complete buffoon. We're going to see how it all plays out. Before we get into all of it, if you like these types of daily recap videos, don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe. With that being said, let's rock. By the time the world's largest casino officially closed for today, here was the headline. S&P 500 slides, Nasdaq drops 3% in sharp AI stock sell-off spurred by China's DeepSeek. It is that word that you probably heard a ton today, DeepSeek. What in the world is it? What's going on? And why did it cause so much pain in the stock market? There's a lot to get into, but first, I do want you to know that stocks made a little bit of an intraday recovery. Granted, still red on the day, the SPY down 1.4%, the Q's down 2.9%, at one point it was down in excess of 4%, and you're gonna see that the semiconductors, those processing chip related names, really took the blunt of the blow. I mean, NVIDIA, deeply red, Broadcom, and the bloodbath does not stop. But what's kind of interesting is if you look at the S&P 500 as a whole, it's really not that red. And I know it's crazy, but take a look at the heat map. Yeah, you have some big popular names, Microsoft, NVIDIA, Broadcom, Oracle, AMD, Micron, Google, Tesla, but there's actually way more green going on. It just so happens that the tech names that were severely impacted by this whole DeepSeek thing happen to have so much weight in the SPY and really specifically the Nasdaq that it took that big of a hit. Now, let's start off with the SPY. Yes, red on the day, down more than 1%, but the options market is actually telling us we should be buyers. Now, the white lines on the screen here is the S&P 500 price action throughout the day, and the colorized bars are what's going on for the 0DT and also the all expiration delta, and you could see that they were aggressively going bullish into close. Pretty interesting. Now let's take a look at the Mag 7. Obviously, we see the big difference between the SPY and the overall Nasdaq. And then I figured, let's take a look at the Mag 7, Apple, Amazon, Google, Meta, Microsoft, NVIDIA, and Tesla, because we know that's where a lot of the pain was. And even this, we caught a bottom around 3 p.m. And then for power hour, we are seeing strength. Now, I know this is quite a bit of conjecture, but I do believe this is the early sign of a Vana rally, V-A-N-N-A, a Vana rally, where you have people basically saying, hey, thanks for all the put money. They close out their puts. That causes vol to crush. That means that market makers don't have to hedge as much to the downside. So they close that out as in buying the shorts back. That pushes price up. That gets people excited. They're like me. They YOLO into calls. And then before you know it, you have a positive feedback loop pushing things higher and higher and higher. Before we get into those specifics, I do want to know, even though it was a crazy day, the Goonie Trading Discord did crush it, locked in $1,600 on a pretty simple trade. So if you're interested in that, don't forget your first month is absolutely free with the code Goonie, but more on that at the end of the video. Let's get into the real news of the day. DeepSeek. First of all, what is DeepSeek? Think about OpenAI's ChatGPT, Anthropic's Claude. It's just another AI system. It's another large language model. It's not new, it's been around for a while, but as you can see on the screen, they did roll out their DeepSeek R1, their newest versioning of it. And very quickly, that was released and it led to this: how China's new AI model DeepSeek is threatening US dominance, and clearly it had a huge financial impact to the tune of billions, if not trillions of dollars. NVIDIA's dropped 17% as China's cheaper AI model DeepSeek sparks global tech sell-off. So yes, NVIDIA took a 17% hit, Broadcom took more than a 17% hit, you have TSM, which is more of the fabricator, taking a 13.3% hit, you have the machine developer for the fabricator taking a 6% hit, and then the entire sector, SMH is the ETF tracking the semiconductor, and that took almost a 10% hit. Clearly, people had a massive negative bearish reaction. But as I put out, I am a buyer. This mini market crash seems like a classic one of the Wall Street bros not fully understanding what the nerds in the lab are cooking up. I'm a buyer here. I put that out before the market opened, so please let me explain. Coming back to DeepSeek, what they released was very promising. And let me just give you a very quick TLDR. We're not going to go down the path of nerdy talk, but here's what you need to know. Training an AI system can be very, very expensive. Historically, it's cost, around $100 million. DeepSeek just pulled it off by doing it with $6 million. The GPUs required, instead of using 100,000 like previous ones, it only used 2,000. The API calls were 95% cheaper for DeepSeek, and instead of using high-end data center GPUs like NVIDIA's H100, it was just using lower level, kind of advanced, but still lower level relative to the data center gaming GPUs. And instead of doing this with thousands, if not tens of thousands of employees, it only did it with 200. So here's the major TLDR. DeepSeek was able to pull off training its own AI system in a much more efficient and far less costly manner. When I say costly, I mean not only pure dinero, but also resources. And obviously, that was a pretty big deal because the market pretty much got kicked in the nuts. But as I'm telling you, I think the Wall Street bros don't really fully understand what's going on. For whatever reason, Wall Street reacted in a very emotional way because they think as efficiency is going up, consumption's going to go down, and thus you're going to have a lot less of a revenue for many of the companies that we've already been talking about. But they don't understand this one paradox that everyone and their brother's talking about today, Jevons Paradox. Now you can see there's a lot of words on the page, and I thought it was only appropriate to break down this paradox. Instead of me reading and learning and trying to explain it to all of you, I would just do what all streamers and content creators and just, I assume, kids in the current education system do. I just went over right to an AI system and I said, yo, can you please concisely explain Jevons Paradox? Jevons Paradox is the observation that as technological improvements increase the efficiency of resource use, the overall consumption of that resource can increase rather than decrease. You see what I'm connecting here? Wall Street completely fell off a cliff today because they saw this giant efficiency spike and said, uh-oh, that means there's going to be less desire for resources. But according to this economic paradox, the opposite is true. As efficiency goes up, so does consumption, which is exactly why I'm a dip buyer at this moment in time. This happens because greater efficiency often lowers costs, making the resource more accessible and driving higher demand. So this is exactly what I'm saying. The Wall Street bros are completely missing out on what the nerds are cooking up in the lab, because what those nerds just pulled off is going to put more tendies in all of our pockets, because if anything, demand's going to go up from here, not get squashed out. So it's for those reasons that buying this dip is a yes from me, dog. I should also add on that there are a couple other reasons, and I think it's maybe that this DeepSeek is not all it's cracked up to be. Give a listen to what the Scale AI CEO just had to say about DeepSeek.
You know, the Chinese labs, they have more H100s than people think. You know, these are the highest powered NVIDIA chips that they were not supposed to have. Yes. My understanding is that DeepSeek has about 50,000 H100s, which they can't talk about, obviously, because it is against the export controls that the United States has put in place. And I think it is true that, I think they have more chips than other people expect, but also on a go-forward basis, they are going to be limited by the chip controls and the export controls that we have in place.
I should add that as soon as this was posted, you could see here Elon following up by saying, obviously, kind of coming back to, should we really trust the narrative of what's coming out of DeepSeek and more specifically China? DeepSeek hit with a large-scale cyber attack saying it's limiting registrations, another weird thing that ended up playing out today. And you should also know that more and more people are starting to realize that it's maybe not as safe as you want it to be. Just FYI, DeepSeek collects your IP, keystroke patterns, device info, etc., and stores it in China, where all the data is vulnerable to arbitrary requisition from the CCP. So very quickly, time out. I'm not saying from a technological standpoint what DeepSeek pulled off was wrong. I'm thinking the narrative is probably a little bit suspect. And I'm saying that the technology standpoint is not wrong because it's all open source. Yes, their AI model is that good. And they even prove that, yes, it can be done very, very efficiently. This narrative that we're being told of some mega mind hedge fund owner from China who in his free time really likes AI, got 200 people to come together, and he pulled it off with only gaming GPUs seems a little bit suspect. So the end result, the technological end result of what DeepSeek is saying is true. It's verifiable. How they got there in such a, I don't know, a little bit of like that weird upstart sort of like we were just gritty and we had no help and look at this guy, he's just an absolute genius. Well, you're going to have to trust that story as much as you trust any story coming out of China. So let's recap. The narrative is a little bit suspect, but in all reality, it doesn't matter because it's the end product. The end product is very efficient, and I believe that the Wall Street bros misinterpreted the high efficiency to mean that there's going to be lower demand for resources and even just straight up computational power. I believe it's the opposite, and we've seen this before. We've seen this with electricity. We've seen this with gasoline engines. We've seen this with coal and steam engines. As efficiency goes up, the counter knee-jerk reaction actually happens. Demand and usage goes up. So I don't think AMD, NVIDIA, Micron, ASML, TSM, I don't think they're going anywhere. If anything, we're one step closer to a true AI revolution. So why would I not buy these things when they're currently trading at a discount? Now, obviously, there's going to be other things in the short term to be paying attention to this week that could impact this particular trade. On Tuesday, we have consumer confidence, durable goods, huge FOMC decision on Wednesday, and then we have the ECB interest rate decision on Thursday. We have the GDP numbers, and then on Friday, a massive inflation report. And at any point, you never know if the president is going to be popping off. Also, I should note that we are in earnings season. A lot of the companies I just called out, ASML, Meta, Microsoft, IBM, Lam Research, Apple, Intel, Visa, they're all going to be reporting this week. In fact, based on weight, 20% of the entire S&P 500 is reporting this week. That's a roundabout way of me saying, buckle up because we are going on an absolute crazy ride. Now, as I alluded to at the start of this video, whether the market's going up, down, or sideways, the Goonie trading Discord is absolutely crushing it. So as everyone is running around scared and blowing up their account, the Goonie trading Discord locked in a nice $1,600 return. The head quant Piper recommended with a 3 out of 5 confidence, which is, to be fair, the lowest confidence rating, a put credit spread, which is a bullish trade. I ended up executing it via SPX instead of SPY and locked in, as you can see on the screen now, $1,600. Now, if you want not only the reasoning behind these strategies, but also other videos that explain higher end trading tactics, my trades in real time, not just the day trades, but also the swing trades, like the ones that I just punted in my account on the SPY and the Qs and Meta and NVIDIA, made bullish positions on all of them. If you want that stuff in real time, like I said, you can get it for absolutely free. Check out the link in the description of the video, put in that promo code Goonie and test it out for a month. I'm putting my money where my mouth is. You can see all my trades, whether it's a swing trade, a day trade. You get access to all the previous lectures. You get all the other community members, their thoughts and opinions. It is the best trading community. And I'm putting my money where my mouth is because you get access to everything for an entire month. If you like it, great, stick around. And if it's not really for you, I completely understand. Just cancel your account within the first month and you'll never be charged anything. Highly recommend that you check it out. Other than that, I appreciate all the good vibes. I appreciate your time. I hope you survived today's mini crash. And I do believe, I want to be very clear here, that this dip is to be bought. That's what I have for you. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.